Okay, so welcome back to Semicon West here in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm joined now by Jeff Peabody. He's a Managing Director of Critical Manufacturing in North America.
Thank you for having me, Trevor.
Yeah, great to see you. So, you actually, or Critical Manufacturing started its journey really here in the back end in the semiconductor industry.
Semiconductor. This is where our roots are. The founders of our company actually worked for a large semiconductor manufacturer and felt like they could build a better mousetrap. They worked with a lot of different manufacturing software systems, and so they ultimately created critical manufacturing, where they've been able to realize that vision.
Right. So one of the things that makes your MES systems fairly unique and suited to this industry, of course, is your ability to look at the automation, the materials handling, as it were.
You know, two parts to that. The automation is a huge thing, and the data, and the level of sophistication in that automation and connecting to equipment. But then some of the more advanced fabs have automated material handling systems where they're transporting their materials. These wafers are getting so large that you can't have a person actually carrying them.
Yeah, you see these FOOPs on rails literally going around the factory.
Yeah. So those are the systems, we're one of only a very few MES companies that can do MES for those highly automated facilities.
Systems, okay. And as you alluded to there, the next step, of course, in this journey is with these new factories that are opening up here especially, is they're going to want increased automation and increased use of AI. And your MES systems basically are going to have to keep up with that and integrate with it.
We have seen this coming for the last years, and so we've been preparing our infrastructure for this. And what you're saying is exactly true. Semiconductor industry has some of the most sophisticated and expensive equipment anywhere. And that equipment generates tons of data. There was a statistic put out, not specifically for the semiconductor industry, but they found that about 90% of data is what's referred to as dark data, which means it's collected, it's available, but it's not being used.
So it sits somewhere in a data lake, but at some point in the future,
they're saving it, but they think somewhere in the future it might be available. And this is a good example. When I started in the semiconductor industry in the 90s, we talked about predictive maintenance, and everybody knew about it. And the thing was, you had to take data and identify patterns in that data that would forewarn you of something that was going to happen on the equipment, right? You could preempt that. The problem is we didn't have the computer power, so people would have to go try and identify those patterns, right? And how far can you get? Where now we have so much more data, but now we have AI, we have machine learning that can sift through that data automatically and identify the patterns for us. So that's huge, and that's one of the low-hanging fruit with the whole AI.
Absolutely. So you found it's a great tool for you to be able to provide even more value, because at the end of the day, it's your job to take that data, but also to produce actionable information that you can pass back.
That is exactly right. And so one of the big things that the industry is heading into is called data platform. And this is basically an architecture to handle large quantities of data, streaming data. The technologies used in data platforms were literally invented by social media and advertising, right? Because they're trying to assimilate lots of data about people to predict what people are going to do. So we're using those same technologies to collect this data, and then you can perform advanced analytics on this data.
Okay. Yeah, it's very sophisticated stuff then.
It is, but it's very fascinating. I mean, and some people have asked, will data platform replace an MES? And they completely don't understand how the systems work together, but a data platform is absorbing a lot of data. The MES is transactional, and it's providing the context to that data. Otherwise, the data couldn't be turned into insight, like you were saying.
Right. So just to be clear on this, I mean, the critical manufacturing MES system is a cloud-based system, or is it on-prem as well?
It's both. So in the semiconductor industry, honestly, I don't know of a single company that has their MES in the cloud.
Right.
We have some large customers outside the semiconductor industry that do, but because of concerns with latency, security,
So
right now
so
it's all
pretty much
on-prem.
they're all on-prem. Yeah.
Right now it's all on-prem. Yep.
Okay. So then when you update these systems each time, you literally have to, I guess, download it in packets to the on-prem, or do you physically do it? I mean,
Yes.
what do you do?
That's a really good question, right? I mean, one of the things, and we'll see this, customers will ask this question, what happens during an update? They're afraid of losing control.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why semiconductor companies do it on premise, because they want control of when any updates happen, whether that's to the MES or the underlying infrastructure like Microsoft or the databases. They want to control that. They don't want anything being done without them doing it and testing it beforehand.
Right.
So, that's a great question.
Yeah, it's interesting, because, and I guess the big ones want to have that information rather quickly as well, once it becomes available.
And an MES in semiconductor, you don't need to justify it. Everybody knows they need it. But the thing is, if the MES system goes down, their manufacturing goes down. That's how dependent they are on it.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And so if that MES is down, it can be millions of dollars an hour, right? So you've got to have a very reliable system. They want their hands on it. They want complete control.
And I guess that's why you're called critical manufacturing.
Critical manufacturing, that's it, Trevor.
Got it in one. So Jeff, when we talk about data platform, it sort of breaks down into 4 distinct areas. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, excellent. The analytics possible through data platform, you've got 4 different types. You've got the descriptive, which is what we do now, what happened.
Yep.
You've got the diagnostic, so why did it happen? And then you've got the predictive, so what patterns exist that we could try to identify that this is going to happen. And then you have prescriptive analytics. And the where we're at with AI right now and the capabilities, the computer that we have now and the data that's available, we're moving from that descriptive and diagnostics into the predictive and prescriptive.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember years ago, Hewlett-Packard, back in the day, HP, were the ones that first wanted to do predictive testing. They wanted to predict what was going to happen before it happened, because in manufacturing, the earlier you catch something in a process, the more money you save.
Right, yeah, exactly.
But it's great. Companies have been struggling to sort of really make that happen. But I think through the use of this of AI and these tools that you're talking about just now, we're going to get there.
Now is the time. I mean, the next 5 years are going to be incredible, right? The issue, AI, they were trying to model the way the human brain thinks back in 1940.
Right.
They were modeling AI in 1940, okay? But they didn't have the computing power. They didn't have all the data that we have today.
Right.
Now everything's come together. We have the models, we have the data, we have the computing power. It's going to be absolutely insane the next few years.
Well, once quantum comes on board, then...
Oh my goodness, don't even go there on me, Trevor. That is interesting.
Yeah.
So we've actually, this is a side note, okay? Quantum computing is able to hack a lot of systems.
Yes.
You're hearing every day about malware attacking factories, causing millions of dollars of damage and things like that. And these companies are actually starting to use supercomputing capabilities to crack into systems.
Yes.
We've had to implement supercomputer-proof security into our MES.
Really?
To prevent that. Yes.
Wow.
It's a thing now.
It's a thing already.
It's a thing already.
Wow.
Yes.
That's incredible.
And there you go.
They're always going to keep testing you, Jeff.
Can you believe it? Thanks, Trevor.
Thank you. Jeff, it's always exciting to catch up.
It is fun. It's good to see you again, Trevor.
Yeah. And
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and thank you for coming in and talking to us today.
All right.
Okay.
For micro dispensing, there is one product line that is proven and trusted by manufacturers in semiconductor packaging, electronics assembly, medical device, and electromechanical assembly the world over. DL Technology, superior pumps and needles for the finer things in life.